Okay, it is that once in a blue moon time where I just gotta bitch about some shit because there is some news that I've seen that has just kind of pissed me off. So, the first one, which I'm not going to spend too much time on because I'm not too surprised by it. So, Microsoft did complete their acquisition of Activision. Yeah, I can speak English. Activision-Blizzard. Again, I'm not too surprised about this one. I teased about it in a video that I did on the main channel. Right now, I can only make an exception for Activision-Blizzard because of the heinous shit that went on in their offices. Oh, but trust me, they were not far behind EA before all that came out. Well, because I love breaking the immersion of my videos, what does make Activision Blizzard even more peculiar is how Microsoft now owns them, or at least is in the process of buying them. Yeah, I don't know. Really odd how in 2021 some allegations came out and now Activision Blizzard is moving swiftly to join our overlords at Microsoft Corporation. I mean, who knows? If Microsoft decides tomorrow they want to own EA, maybe soon I'll just change my whole position and say Microsoft is the symbol of everything wrong with gaming since they own the whole damn market. However, even back then I made the offhand remark about Microsoft, they might as well just buy EA at this point if they're just trying to buy the entire video game industry. Because ultimately, my biggest problem with the whole Microsoft and Activision deal is that you have this mega corporation, Microsoft, buying another mega corporation, though they are not as big as Microsoft by far. It's still one corporation buying another corporation, consolidating the industry, and it's just a pattern that we have always seen with the entertainment industry. I haven't brought this up, I think, on this channel, but there is one company that I will usually just say the name of as a way of making a point about the, hyper-capitalist dystopia that we are on a fast track towards. Comcast, NBC, Universal is not three companies that I just listed off. That is the name of one company. Yes, Comcast, NBC, Universal is so fucking huge of a company that it has three company names in it. Not even joking. Because, yeah, obviously what Comcast, NBC, Universal is you have the telecom company, Comcast, who bought out NBC Universal, which in turn is a conglomerate between NBC and Universal Pictures. So, yes, one of the biggest companies in America is actually three companies, but it's one company because they're all owned by the same people. Now, one thing I'm also going to take a very brief moment to talk about is market capitalization. Now, what this is a representation of the actual value of Microsoft. Of course, also based off of the stock market. Basically, how much, if you would add up the price of every single one of their shares, how much would that be? Now, I'm going to leave this number on screen for a bit. You're going to see it fluctuate a little bit because we are in the middle of the trading day. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because one interesting thing I have seen people talk about is, well, this is just how competition works. Microsoft is buying up the video game industry because Sony has exclusives, so now Microsoft deserves to have exclusives on the Xbox. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to defend either company because both have infinitely more money than my entire bloodline ever will by the time that the heat death of the universe happens. But I do want to point out that Microsoft has a fuckload of money. This $2.47 trillion that you see right here, that's trillion. There are countries with a lower GDP than that. The annual GDP for the United States, I'll put the number up on screen right now, but I think last time I checked it was around 20 trillion roughly. I might be rounding either up or down a bit there. But, yeah, one company's value is a tenth of that of the United States. Again, there are companies with a lower GDP than Microsoft has in total value. Now, of course, Microsoft has been around for decades. But this should give you an idea as to how fucking powerful Microsoft Corporation is. So, I could kind of give a fuck less about market consolidation benefiting what is already the consolidated market. Because here's the other thing as well. Microsoft also is powerful enough where they get government contracts. So yes, your tax dollars in the United States, some of that goes to blowing up shit out in war, while some of it also goes to line the pockets of Microsoft. By the way, notice this number here. Now again, I'm not going to defend a bunch of mega corporations because I could give a fuck less. But I think that there's a very clear difference between Sony and Microsoft. So, again, you can have exclusives however much you want on your fucking consoles. I could give a fuck less, because that shit ultimately comes to PC in a few years. And hey, I'm on like a 20-year backlog right now. I'm probably about to play like Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time. But the point I'm ultimately making is when you run defense for Microsoft Corporation, you look like a fucking moron, frankly. So again, I'm not running defense for either of these companies, but if you're saying that somehow poor Microsoft, Sony has had exclusives for all this time, yeah, think again. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about with the Microsoft thing, because I ultimately just want to talk about something that actually kind of affects me a bit, because I've been on this platform for, 5 years now, I think? Yeah, actually, 5 years. No, I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about Bandcamp. So the news I have today is Epic Games, the video game company, purchased the music company Bandcamp. Now, if you don't know what Bandcamp is a predominantly indie-led company that specializes in distributing music. I have used Bandcamp for my own music for years because I like the idea of just being able to give you the files to my music at a pretty decent quality of audio, CD quality, for free. Where you can just go, pay what you want for an album, and now you have voxel memories. Right now, you can go on to absoluteproblem.bandcamp.com and buy my album Voxel Memories for $0.00. And that's something I think is incredible, because I just want my music to be distributed. I just want it to be out there. That's why you can find my music for free on Bandcamp to download if you're the type of person that still uses iTunes to sync stuff to an iPod. You can download MP3 versions of my albums, you can download FLAC versions if you want to the highest quality you can from Bandcamp, anything like that. Or if you're like me, you can just go to Spotify or Apple Music, or you can just go to youtube.com, because I upload my music on there anyway. Bandcamp is just another avenue that I distribute my music through, but it's a very valuable one because I personally very much value that high quality FLAC file, where even though I know it's going to sound about as good as an MP3 file, I know that it's going to be good. No matter what, on any device that I'm running it through, I know that this is about how it's meant to sound. Stuff can be mixed at like 96,000 hertz. I know that my shit is mixed at 96,000 hertz, and ultimately through Bandcamp, I think the FLAC files only go out as 48,000. But that's still pretty good. That is CD quality. That is about as good as you're going to get, and you can get it for free. All these things are very desirable for someone that just wants to distribute their music but doesn't have the means of like a record label. You're not going to find my albums in a music store. You're not going to find my albums on even like a rack in a 7-Eleven. You're not going to find it anywhere physically because I'm not pressing physical versions of my albums. So I say all this to give context to this purchase by Epic Games. Because you have a video game company that specializes purely in tech, because they make video games. Obviously you know who they are because of Fortnite. But their biggest thing is also the Unreal Engine, which powers a whole lot of video games. We recently had that whole Unity fiasco happen before, and people were bringing up, hey, you know what, if you don't like Unity doing this, just go over to the Unreal Engine, or go to the Godot game engine. I bring all this up because this news isn't new at all. This is actually just from last year, about a year and a half ago, March 2nd, 2022, where Epic Games announced that they were purchasing Bandcamp, and now Bandcamp is an Epic Games company. So this independent company that specializes in independent artists getting their music out there is now owned by a pretty powerful video game company. Now, we aren't talking about like a Microsoft, but we are talking about just this tiny little game company that just so happens to have an engine that is the backbone of a lot of modern video games. Did I also mention that this company is 4.9% owned by Sony? Did I also mention that this company is about 40% owned by Tencent? Yeah, so while, to my understanding, the majority shareholder is still the founder, Tim Sweeney, this definitely is not your tiny little fucking video game company. This is a corporation. So, yes, a company bought about a year and a half ago the main independent music platform Now, based on the headline, you can see that their reason that Epic Games gives is, yeah, this is to help support fair, open platforms for artists and fans. Yeah, we're pro-consumer, we like artists, we like doing all this. The reason why they're wording it this way is because of the lawsuits that they had against Apple and Google. So, I don't know if the Google lawsuit is over yet or not, but basically Epic Games was pissed that Apple and Google were taking a good chunk of money for distributing Fortnite and the Epic Games launcher through Google Play and the Apple App Store. And here's the thing, there is a discussion to be had about that, because in the case of Apple, Apple did have a de facto, and they still kind of do have a de facto monopoly on their devices. I say that because I think something changed recently where you can technically load on a different app storefront onto your iPhones now. It's just obviously not something that Apple wants to promote. I'm going to very quickly give my reason why I think that this is bullshit and ultimately why Epic Games lost this lawsuit against Apple. Again, I don't know if the case against Google has been decided yet or not, but the Apple one sure as fuck got decided a while ago. So, here's the simple argument I'm going to make. When you buy an iPhone, you know you're getting into a fucking walled garden. That was, frankly, part of the reason why I did switch from, like, a Samsung whatever the fuck to a iPhone. I did that because I wanted a good camera. I knew I was going to get the walled garden experience where it's like, oh no, I can't load on this, like, random app that you can get from GitHub onto an iPhone. Oh, what am I going to do? Oh wait, I don't even use my phone for that. Yeah, I only care about when it comes to my phone, and I know that I'm probably the unique one here. I only care about having a good camera, having a music player, basically just a glorified iPod, and being able to take calls and do messaging, and I guess browse the web too, okay? That is the only shit I really care about on my phone. I don't use it for games, I don't use it for even video editing. I don't use it for that, because to me, that's fucking stupid. I can do right now, Premiere. Type it in. What the fuck is this? Ew, ew, ew. I can just type in Premiere, and in about 5 seconds, Adobe Premiere is going to start up, and I can just edit a video. You know how long it takes for me to edit one of these second channel videos? Not that long. But I understand that people do use their phones for more than that. People obviously use it also to play Fortnite. And yeah, Epic fucking lost. 9 of the 10 counts were, they were ruled in favor of Apple. One of them, I guess they were found in, like something with this random California law. Okay, fine. And even when it was appealed, it then got upheld 2 years later. So, I'm giving this context because that is the wording that they then used to, I guess, sell their justification for buying Bandcamp. Did Bandcamp really need to be bought by Epic Games? I don't think so. I don't remember Bandcamp particularly struggling like a year and a half ago. I remember it doing just fine. But alas, they were purchased by Epic Games. Now, another question that you can probably ask is, what the fuck is a video game company doing buying a online music retailer? Because, yeah, okay, Microsoft, at least with that, like, they have their interest in Xbox. That would make sense why they would buy one of the oldest video game publishers ever. It's unsurprising then when you have, like, leaked documents come out that was showing them discussing the acquisition of Nintendo. Because Microsoft is interested in the video game industry, in selling their Xbox. But this is like when you have a mining company like Gulf and Western back in the 70s purchasing Paramount Pictures. What? Why the what? And then sure enough, you know what happened after that? Paramount Pictures has just like switched hands many times and now they're owned by Viacom. So you end up with this interesting little pattern where you have a company thinking that they are big enough where they can just be in everything, and then I guess realizing quickly that, oh shit, we can't just be in everything because we aren't that big. And that's the reality with Epic Games and Bandcamp's relation. Because now, Bandcamp has been sold off by Epic Games to Songtradr, and now half of Bandcamp employees have been laid off. So there's a lot now to unpack on this. Remember when I said that I only wanted to spend a little bit of time on Microsoft? This is why, because there is a lot to look at here. So, obviously, the first questions that we now have is, okay, well, what the fuck went wrong with Epic Games and Bandcamp when now they're having to sell off Bandcamp? Because surely Epic Games should be getting a lot of money from the little kids playing Fortnite so that they can uphold this platform that represents the values of artists and helping cultivate a free and open platform, right? Okay, actually, I'll get to that in a second. Let's look at the second question. The second question is then, okay, who is Songtrader? And then the third question is, why have half the employees now been laid off? So, I can answer 1 and 3 in just a second. I just gotta find my fucking tab. So, here is a letter from the CEO of Epic Games, Tim Sweeney, that was written out to Epic employees. This was September 28th, 2023, so just a couple weeks ago. Here he is addressing having to lay off 16% of Epic employees and having to divest Bandcamp and spin off Super Awesome, which apparently is like a marketing thing they have. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, they're having to do some restructuring and deal with the fact that apparently they have been overspending for a while now. They are trying to reduce costs, so they are going to no longer be hiring people, and they're also trying to cut operating spending because, that's how you reduce costs. So part of that is going to be selling Bandcamp, part of that is going to be obviously firing people, as I mentioned before, with the 16% of employees being laid off. And I guess a bunch of that is then the employees that have been fired from Bandcamp. The company that has now bought Bandcamp is a company called Songtrader. Who is Songtrader? Well, let me show you. So here is Songtrader's website. All your music needs in one place. You need music legally. We got it. Legally, huh? What is that supposed to mean? Oh, yeah, so here's the deal with what this is. This is a music licensing company. I assume no different to something like an ASCAP or something kind of like Sony BMG that you would see in the fucking YouTube Content ID system. Except that one's a little bit different because that's labeled music. But yeah, this is a music licensing company that now owns the storefront for most independent musicians in the world. Okay. At least it's a music-related company. This definitely will not have any potential issues moving forward. Now, look, I'm going to comment real quick on music licensing. There's a reason I make my own fucking music, because I don't want to deal with anyone else claiming shit on my videos. And I also know enough music where I can do that. This is no longer an independent company. This is entirely just a law company at this point. And what I mean by that is this is entirely about licensing music. This is basically like having your music licensed to commercials and shit like that. Like, okay, here's the thing. And I scrolled down and now this showed up on the site. You can see precisely what kind of company now owns Bandcamp. Do I need to elaborate? Now, hey, maybe nothing is going to change with Bandcamp, okay? Maybe. I'm not going to hold my fucking breath, because, like, every time there's a company that is independent that then gets bought out by some other bigger company, shit changes, because obviously now half the employees of Bandcamp are fired. So here's how we know that 50% of Bandcamp's employees have been fired. From The Verge, Songtrader confirmed that 50% of Bandcamp employees have been extended offers to join Songtrader and reaffirmed from a previous statement the company's commitment to keep the Bandcamp experience the same. Okay? This article is from just today, I think, actually. No, yesterday. But just the paragraph above, it says employees who did not receive offers from Songtrader were notified today and will be eligible for severance. Okay, so I guess at least they're getting a severance package from Epic. Cool. You know, having a job would be a much better deal, but okay. So I want to remind you, this is all within the span of about a year and a half, where for some reason a year and a half ago, they decided to purchase a smaller company that is pretty integral to the independent music scene. Because, yes, for some reason they wanted to be involved in the independent music scene for some reason. And then in a year and a half, they managed to fuck up their finances enough where they realize, oh shit, we're losing money. And we need to restructure some things. So now we're going to sell this company that we bought for an undisclosed amount to another company for an undisclosed amount. When in reality, they could have just never dipped their toes into the independent music scene to begin with, and not have caused this whole fiasco, and still have their whole financial bullshittery happen now. But because they were greedy and wanted to, for some reason, be in an industry that they have never had an interest in, this is where we are now with Bandcamp, where half of their employees have been laid off. Now, another thing that I'm going to talk about as well, because I now want to focus on the employees for a bit. So, the workers at Bandcamp actually began unionizing earlier this year. This is the Bandcamp Union, Bandcamp United OPEIU Local 1010. This is a workers' union that represents, well, is trying to represent, and I'm wording it this way because of some shit that has now happened that has gotten in the way of this. They are trying to represent the workers of Bandcamp to have negotiating leverage with Epic Games. That is until Epic Games sold Bandcamp, because now the union can't negotiate with Epic Games because Epic Games doesn't own the company. This would be like IATSE negotiating with like fucking BP. So because of that, now they have to negotiate with Songtradr. But here's the problem. Songtradr hasn't recognized the union. And the thing is that unfortunately for the workers, Songtradr doesn't really have an incentive to do that because of this whole purchase that just happened. So yes, this purchase has just fucked over the ability of the workers, the few that now remain at the company, to be able to negotiate as a unit. Because I'm going to say this right now, it is easier to negotiate together than independently. It is better to be a union than it is to be a scab. And we know this because look at the WGA. They just won on a lot of their negotiating. They were negotiating for months, remember, and they finally won a contract. To my understanding, last I checked, it was still a tentative deal where now it has to be voted on by everyone in the union to like agree to it, all that, because that's how a union works. It's a democracy, but for the workplace type of thing, you know? The cynical side of me, in a way, almost views this as like, it's very convenient that this company, Epic Games, that was in negotiating talks with the union for Bandcamp, has now sold Bandcamp in order to not deal with the union. And now sending it to some other company that at least is in the music industry, I guess, to a degree, that now Bandcamp United has to try and be recognized by. Because if they aren't recognized by Songtradr, well, then they're fucked. So now the question is, how do you then get the company to recognize the union? I guess if the remaining 50% of the employees that were part of Bandcamp are still part of the union, I guess have them not work, have them go on strike, I guess? I don't know. So, yeah, this whole situation just reeks to high hell of greed in my eyes. I'm gonna have to open a window in here soon, it's starting to smell. Yeah, that is all the bullshit that has now happened with Bandcamp. And I care about this because this is one of the ways, this is the first way that I was distributing my music. I put it on Bandcamp before I put it onto YouTube. And it is also very disappointing to see what is a centerpiece to the independent music scene, and really one of the most important platforms for it, because it is tailor-made to indie music. It is tailor-made to being like, hey, are you someone that sits in their garage and mixes, I don't know, like their DJ set? Or are you someone that just has an acoustic guitar and like their MacBook like array microphone? Are you someone that fills in any of these blanks? This is the platform for you. And I guess now, I mean, it's still around. The service obviously isn't being shut down. But man, seeing companies get involved in this shit, I know it's going to not be as good as it used to be. And it's because the whole incentive now for Songtradr is going to be, okay, Bandcamp, we bought you for this much, we want a return on our investment. And then what happens when they don't get the return on the investment? Because ultimately, Bandcamp is only for independent fucking artists. Yeah, we're just going to lay off more employees. Or eventually just dissolve the whole thing. So, yes, The moral of this whole video right now is corporate consolidation is terrible. And to root on corporate consolidation just makes you a corporatist, a filthy corporatist at that point. So, in summary, my closing remarks on this is I really hope that Bandcamp United are successful in their efforts to actually fucking unionize their workplace, because they were so close to it as well, considering that they were already in negotiating talks with Epic Games before this thing happened. Like, they were negotiating in August, and then in apparently late September, it was announced that Bandcamp was being sold to Songtrader. Yeah, they got screwed over. Ultimately, what matters is going to be Bandcamp United getting recognized by Songtrader and being able to negotiate better wages for the employees at Bandcamp, and as well better job security now, since half of the workforce has been laid off. And then, on top of that, also keeping in mind that half of the people that worked at Bandcamp are no longer employed and no longer have their jobs. All because a company decided to buy them a year and a half ago and has now decided to sell them. Because, uh-oh, we aren't making money now. Because they made a gross overestimate in their investment. So before the video is over, there's a couple things I want to say. First one, the second channel has reached 200 subscribers, so thank you to everyone who has subscribed really over the past year, and especially following the My House video. It's still pretty cool seeing that people are still subscribing, even after that video and the whole trend passed long ago. And originally I was just going to include this in this video because I was talking about Bandcamp, but you know what? As a celebration for reaching 200 subscribers on the second channel, I got a little treat for you guys, and as well a little announcement. So, it has been a while since I have released music, and I can now say with a good amount of confidence that in the next 3 months, there will be another Absolute Problem album. I don't know if I announced this before on another video, because I know that I've shown early versions of some of my songs in my videos. But yeah, point is, there is another album coming, and it will be coming sometime in the next 3 months. It will either be released this year in, I don't know, December, probably December 31st for all I know, or it'll just be released in like January in 2024. But yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been working on a lot of projects. This thing has been in the works for even longer than the video essays, really, on the main channel. And as for the main channel, it feels like it has been about as long since I have put up a video on that channel. It has now been over a year since the Shining video. Don't worry, there is a video coming, I just don't know when, because there's a lot of things still going on. Obviously, you now know part of the picture being this album, but yeah, there's still some stuff that I'm having to deal with in regards to the whole Absolute Problem thing. So yeah, look forward to all that. It's all coming soon. Anyway, here is the demo. Subscribe to the channels. Thank you again for 200 subs. I'm out.